If not having clear goals is keeping you stuck in inaction, then stick around because you're definitely not going to want to miss this video. In it, you'll learn my 6-step process on how to set defined goals, as well as how to set yourself up to take consistent action on them. After, you'll be motivated to hit the ground running and get started right away. Before we go ahead and dive in, if learning both personal and professional habits like goal setting is a priority for you, then don't forget to hit subscribe and tap that bell so you get notified the next time a new video airs. Pretty much any goal I've ever set my mind to, I've achieved. And this has ranged from physical goals like running a marathon all the way to more project-oriented ones like launching my own business. Speaking of project management, I've always approached my goals from a standpoint very similar to how a professional project manager would. And this is a process that I've honed over my 15 years of executive leadership and really kind of worked and developed to create my own. Today, I'm sharing my personal process on how to get it done and how you can get it done too. I've got a really great 6-step framework for you guys to use to be able to set actual goals that you're actually motivated to want to take action on each and every day. First thing I wanted to share, which I think is really important, is the difference between finish line goals and mile marker goals. This is my own term, and this is the best way I could think of to describe it. And I'm actually going to do a quick, I got my whiteboard, so it's getting serious today. I'm going to do a really quick kind of graphic to show you what I mean by this, right? So if we are running a marathon, how long is a marathon, right? A marathon is 26.2 miles, right? So here's an example. So we're going to say our goal is to run the marathon, right? So to get to the finish line, your finish line here, or actually it's reversed. To get to your finish line is to cross 26.2 miles. That is your primary goal. And for the sake of this conversation, that is what I consider a finish line goal. Let's just say as an example, because I know a lot of the folks within this group are aspiring entrepreneurs, let's say your ultimate finish line goal is you want to achieve true freedom and flexibility on your own terms of your income, of your time. That's what a lot of folks come to me for help with. So let's say that's your finish line goal. That is great, but unlike a marathon where you know that the absolute finish line is 26.2 miles, you need to be able to set a measurable result on whatever your definition of success is. So for example, let's, using that business as the goal example. So for you to feel fully free and to have the flexibility you're looking for, what would need to happen in order for you to feel that way? So you can look at what's your revenue goal, how many hours do you want to be working? These are all tangible numbers that you could set that you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you've hit your definition of success for whatever that goal is. So that is your finish line goal, the ultimate end result that you're looking for. I like using marathons as the example because along the way with a marathon, if you wanted to run, say, a 10K, for example, or a 5K, or even a half marathon. Let's look at the marathon. Marathon is 26.2. Can you tell I used to be a runner at some point in time? A half marathon is 12 miles. A 10K is 6. And a 5K is 3. So if you were running a marathon, that's 26.2 miles. You also have mile marker goals along the way. Right? So these are also defined. So you've got, your 5K is 3 miles. So that's your mile marker there. You've got your 10K, which is 6. You've got your half. You still have to pass these mile markers to ultimately get to the marathon. Mile marker goals are all of the milestones along the way of you achieving your, finish line goal. So using the starting your business as an example, one, mile marker goal might be landing your very first paying client. Another mile marker goal might be hitting, 10K a month in revenue, right? That might be a mile marker that you're not quite feeling, freedom and flexibility yet because you're still working your day job that you need to replace that income, but 10K is a big milestone. This is how I want you to think about your goals. And I'm going to walk you through exactly right now how to outline them so that you have defined mile marker goals as well as your finishing line goal. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to get out a piece of paper, or you can get out a whiteboard like I did. You're going to then go through and you're going to list out every single step that needs to happen in order for you to achieve the finish line goal. Describing, starting a business and achieving that freedom and flexibility, you're going to need to, number one, have a business. Okay, well, to have a business, what are you going to need to do that? You're going to have to land that first paying client. Eventually, you might have to get a website. You're going to have to market. You're going to have to figure out how to sell. You're going to list every single step that you're going to need to do to reach that end final goal. And I know this seems easier said than done, and you might get stuck, right? And when you get stuck, the most important thing that you're going to want to do from there is you're going to want to kind of identify what am I going to need to learn, or who am I going to need to talk to achieve this step. You're going to kind of make a mental note of this, and we're going to refer back to it later in the process, right? So don't get hung up, but just write out all the steps that come to mind at the moment. And also remember too, as you're planning your goal, there may be things that pop up when you're in the middle of the process that you're going to need to address. So again, this is just to kind of get your thoughts out on paper. And to kind of get started with planning out your goal. Remember that this is an entirely flexible process and it may change as you go along. Take out some paper, write out the steps that you would need to take to achieve that goal. Now from there, it should be fairly easy to then determine what would be a mile marker goal for you, right? So using the business as the example, landing that first paid client might be your very first mile marker. Right? So what am I going to need to do? What steps am I going to have to take to reach that very first one? So again, we're all about talking about measurable results. So what within the list of what you made to get to your finish line would be measurable points that you can mark as a mile marker along the way in your journey. Very first step is to set your finish line goal. So what is that going to look like for you? Let's make it fun. If you guys know off the top of your head what your finish line goal is, go ahead, drop it in the comments so that we all can kind of be inspired by what everybody else is working towards. So from there, this is when you got stuck before and you weren't sure of exactly what you need to do on certain things. You're going to assess what resources and what people you're going to need to speak to in order to make that happen. So as an example, let's just say let's use the first client as the example, trying to reach that goal, that you're already an expert, for example, on, sales and marketing. You did that for 15 plus years in your prior business, that you got down so you could check that off on your steps list, but you're really kind of stuck on brainstorming, an idea or what you should be offering. So then from there, you could look at, okay, well, what are some ways, some tools, some resources, people I could talk to that can help me gain that clarity? So it's up to you to determine what it is that you're going to need to be able to fulfill your finish line, right? Or get to the finish line. So you got to kind of connect your A team and your education and skills and stuff like that to be able to build it up. So you got to have a running list of what all this looks like so that you know and you can get a good idea of exactly how long it's going to take you to hit that finish line. Go ahead, make a list of all the different resources that you're going to need to be able to take action. From there, it should be fairly easy to create a timeline. So take your overall list and then put, okay, well, to reach this mile marker, it's going to realistically take me 1 to 2 months. To reach this mile marker, it's going to take me 2 weeks, right? It's going to depend on specifically what tasks are involved with getting you closer and closer to that finish line. But this makes it much, much easier to then map it out, over the course of time to see the scope of what's involved in the work to get it done. Go ahead, super simple, just create a timeline. Your timeline potentially is going to move. So the purpose of creating the timeline is not to set yourself a deadline. It's to realistically understand how long it's going to take you in the best circumstances based on what you're planning and projecting to reach that goal. It could change. Things happen. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but something called a pandemic happened last year that threw a lot of people for a loop. So things definitely happen. So just have the outline set. It's an intention to get it done in that time frame, and it's more for clarity and visibility than anything else. Then from there, once you have the clear outline, then you could go ahead and you could take your outline and add it into whatever tools you use to track your progress. So if you caught the training last week on how to be more productive, we talked a lot about time tracking tools. So time tracking tools are things like your calendar or, using timers and your phone. So whatever tools you use to keep yourself accountable, it could be a checklist, it could be a calendar, it could be a project management software. So for me and my team at Corrie Co., we use Asana. It's a project management tool to be able to map out all of our company-wide goals and to set the milestones that we're talking about and to assign the tasks to individuals that can help us achieve whatever it is we're looking to achieve, right? So these are all great resources. You got to pick whatever is going to work best for you. And then you outline it based on the calendar and the time that you set aside when you need to work on each of these individual steps. And then from there, it's as simple as taking action. I know it's easier said than done, but at least then you have a starting point on exactly everything you need to do to be able to hit that end finish line goal. Now, remember that your finish line, it's not going to happen overnight. And it may take you years to get there, but it's important to have an overall, vision. So with that said, it's more important that you have the vision set and you know what it is you're working towards. And every single day, it's that your ultimate success is the sum of the many small actions that you took to get to whatever your final vision is. So remember that as you move forward and you will see success. If after watching today's video, you've determined that your very first mile marker goal is to land that first paying client and officially kick off owning your new business, then my program, the Validate Your Biz Blueprint, may be the perfect fit for you. To find out, go ahead and click the link below in the description to book a call with me and my team to see if it would be a good fit. Check out these videos next for even more how-tos on how to develop habits like goal setting. And if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I'll see you next time.